Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a weight loss hypnosis session that was created for a client that had a big celebration planned in their diary in about 7 months in the future. And one of the most powerful catalysts for change, particularly in body shape, is called a compelling vision of the future. And in particular, women before a significant date in the calendar, like a wedding, for example, because they think about that future date so much and how they're going to be in photos and how they're going to be around other people, that clear vision of how they want to be in that compelling vision influences all of the tiny, subtle choices that lead up to that particular point. And that's why it's such a powerful psychological strategy. It also has its downside, and that is that sometimes when these key dates pass, because the key compelling vision of the future is now the past, they lose that motivation, and quite often they gain a lot of weight that has been lost. And it doesn't have to be a wedding. It could be a holiday. It could be an award ceremony. It could be a Christmas or a birthday or something like that. Now, this particular client was a male client, and they had essentially a wedding party. They'd had wedding in lockdown in COVID. They didn't really celebrate it at the time, and they really wanted to have this kind of big celebration. So they had an idea of a venue that they'd booked, and they also had this idea of a reunion with certain college friends, perhaps around a pool party, all of which was taking place around May or June, so about 7 months in the future. And what this does really is it uses certain nutritional strategies for weight loss combined with an element of association in a disassociated state. And I use a VR game, like a simulation metaphor, to get to the point where they can imagine playing a character who's on this 7-month mission to turn up at one of these events the way that they would want to be. And they wanted the body shape to be not skinny or slim, but kind of athletic, lean, muscular, strong, but also quite mobile. It was almost the physique of a UFC character, a player that they really wanted. And again, this is quite useful to kind of frame it in terms of, right, well, this 7 months will pass and that day will come. The only question is, which version of them are they going to turn up at that event as? And the choices they make in that lead up could influence that future version of them. And it really focuses on macros, so proteins, carbs, and fats. But within those, it's possible to make really good choices. Proteins generally, meat and fish of lean varieties, very, very good. Carbohydrates, generally anything colorful. So colorful vegetables, colorful fruits, whole grains because of all the fiber. These are the kind of things that if you are going to have carbs, they're great carbs to have. And then in terms of the fats, eggs, it's a combination of fats and proteins, certain dairy produce. Again, it satiates the hunger, but it actually can be quite a useful way to lean fat. The key thing really that is helpful to reduce, to become leaner, is really refined carbohydrates. This is your ultra-high processed foods, generally things in packets or boxes, things made in factories or laboratories. Generally, that's refined carbohydrates. It also tends to be one of the most addictive types of food because the food companies know that if they have an addict rather than a customer, they get to sell more product. And therefore, going for lean foods, natural foods, whole foods is a really good strategy, but it uses this element of the first few months of finding that kind of habit to train their brain to kind of like this food. then it's increasing physical activity, and then increasing mobility. And each one builds on the previous level. And it almost treats it like a computer game. This kind of first player role-playing game metaphor is quite helpful, because everyone can look at someone else's life and think, oh, it's easy. If that person had to lose weight, all they'd have to do is A, B, and C, and they'd probably be right. But it's different when you're in your own body than if you're looking at someone like there's someone else. And this taps into the ethos of disassociation. If you're listening to this and you like the idea of using some kind of combination of hypnosis and nutritional strategies to help you lose weight, there will be a link in the show notes, or you can check out my website, adamcox.co.uk, book a free consultation call, we'll have a chat, and I might be the right hypnotherapist to work with you so that you have a compelling vision for your future and that you get to be more of the person you want to be. So if that appeals, check me out. For now, though, this session might do what you need it to do, in which case find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a wonderful feeling of resourcefulness. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of stress, worry, or tension to feel like it's melting away and leaving your body in that outward breath. Breathing in resourceful relaxation and letting go of anything that needs to be released. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. As you feel that you're drifting off to a place of enhanced imagination. Imagination that is powered by the infinite possibility of your intuition. And I want you to imagine that your imagination itself is a portal into infinite realities. And I wonder if you could use the power of your imagination to imagine a reality of advanced technology. A place where an interface that could be like a virtual reality headset, or perhaps some sensor that you place on your temple, takes you into a different reality. So breathe in and breathe out and imagine standing in front of this technology. And I want you to imagine it's like playing a game, a role-playing game with a first-person perspective. And perhaps you can imagine reading nearby instructions. This is a game where the choices you make open up or close, different branches of a probability tree. But there is a goal, a 7-month goal, to enable this character to experience a gathering, a celebration. And the goal is to be in excellent, lean, physical shape. And it's easy to fail this game. Just choose to prioritize convenience and short-term gratification. And by doing so, you lead forward to a pathway of perhaps falling short of what could have been in this virtual reality. 7 months will seem more like 10 or 15 minutes, and the time will pass anyway. The only question is, what version of this character will turn up at that celebration or pool party? And I wonder if you could make things easy by having a framework. And we can call the framework the rule of 3. The first rule of 3 is 3 phases of a plan. Phase 1, to prioritize nutrition. Phase 2, to prioritize exercise. And phase 3, to prioritize mobility and movement. And if your unconscious agrees with the broad phasing of plans, let me know by nodding your head. And then imagine there are 3 macros to think about: proteins, carbs, and fats. But what if each one of those 3 had 3 subcategories? And you could create this winnable game simply by prioritizing the 3 best quality sources of each macro. Imagine the proteins are best served from not processed food and manufactured food, but real food, real poultry, real fish, and real steak. But if the majority of the protein that you consumed in this 7-month challenge was from fresh poultry, fresh fish, and good quality steaks, you increase the probability of accomplishing your mission. And then think of carbs. Think of the magic 3. Colorful vegetables, whole fruits, and whole grains. And already your mind is thinking of infinite combinations of the proteins and carbs to create delicious meals. The goal is not to make a 7-month journey unenjoyable. It's to get to the destination and enjoy the journey. And then start to think of the fats. 3 main sources of fats. Perhaps you can think of dairy being one of those sources. Maybe you can think of all the different ways in which you can consume eggs. Fried, boiled, scrambled, poached, all the different combinations. And sometimes some of those eggs would be prepared alongside quality oils. Maybe oils that come from certain nuts or seeds, or perhaps from avocados. I want you to get a sense that even within dairy, there is so much choice. Quality milk or yogurts, the ones with added sugar, but the ones that are real Greek yogurts, perhaps combined with nutritious berries. I want you to get a sense that you could accomplish this 7-month challenge and really enjoy the journey. So imagine placing that VR headset over your eyes, or perhaps placing a sensor on your temple, and then feel like you've taken the perspective of a character that weighs a certain amount and has certain habits. I want you to get a sense that they're used to doing certain things. Maybe they're prioritizing things based on short-term enjoyment or pleasure, and less about this 7-month quest. But you are now in control of this character, aware of the habits, the routines, the rituals, the tendencies, the social dynamics of friends or a partner. And yet, you are in control of this character. So imagine what you do on day 1 of this 7-month quest. Wouldn't it make sense to have the most enjoyable meals possible based on these wonderful combinations? Perhaps steak with a combination of vegetables, or perhaps chicken or turkey with whole grains. Imagine it being the most delicious meal ever. Realizing that the first few days of this quest are not to worry about losing weight. They're simply about making the game winnable, making it enjoyable, making it so there is no resistance, no frustration, no fear of missing out. Maybe you could imagine a breakfast made of eggs prepared just in that way. Maybe the snack is incredibly delicious fresh fruits. Maybe there are frozen fruits always on hand to add to Greek yogurt or throw into a blender to make a delicious smoothie. I want you to feel like you're in control of this quest. And for the first few days, all you're doing is training your brain to enjoy eating this way. And when it feels like you've got through the first week, enjoying the food that you're eating, even if it is in large portions, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to get a sense that your drink of choice is perhaps water, or maybe those things that are low calorie. Black coffee, green teas, cool water with ice. Whatever appeals, imagine drinking it. You're just playing the role of a character. And as the days go on, notice the portions get smaller. I want you to feel that any medication in the past that contributed to weight gain is now doing the opposite. By making a change, the weight just seems to be falling off. And as the days turn into weeks, I want you to feel that the majority of your protein is coming from poultry, fish, and steak. That the majority of your carbs are coming from colorful vegetables, fruit, and whole grains. And the majority of your fats are coming from eggs and good quality dairy produce. It almost feels like, nutritionally, it feels like you've gone back in time to a time of real ingredients, quality ingredients. Perhaps it feels like you're eating the same way that your ancestors used to eat, and feel that primal, lean, strong version of you emerging from within. As the weeks turn into months, feel a desire to be more active, lifting more weights, walking or running more. Feel that you get to choose what you do. You choose how you spend your free time. You join a gym, try out a different gym, swim more than you used to, cycle if you choose. Feel that there is a desire to be more active. I want you to get a sense that 7 months from when the game started, there will be a celebration, perhaps a celebration inside an old barbershop, or perhaps a celebration in a house with a pool. But you'll be attending this event, come what may. The only question is, which version of you attends? And I want you to fast forward and imagine how it would feel attending, feeling heavy, feeling lethargic, feeling clunky, feeling drained with energy. It may still be enjoyable, but I want you to feel that this is just one possibility. The end of one branch of one probability pathway. But as you rewind, decide in advance, this is an easy trade-off. You get to enjoy your food, enjoy feeling strong and powerful, and arrive at this celebration as the version of you that you want to be. This is just a simulation, a game. And since it is, I want you to imagine switching places with a character that is playing a UFC fighter, training for a big fight. Think of the specific fighter and then whoosh, you're now in their body. Feel that strength, that mobility, that looseness, that ability to be agile and fluid and nimble, yet strong and powerful. Feel that you've got all of that energy the energy to train, and notice the quality of food that you consume. You're not focused on what you can't eat, you're focused on what you can eat, what you choose to eat, and feel that all of those strategies and knowledge and habits are being activated so that when you return back to your previous character, it feels like you've downloaded all of those beliefs and strategies and ways of thinking, albeit in a body that isn't as lean as that fighter yet. And let's focus on the emphasis of yet. Because if you do what they do, the body shape of this character will become more like them. Feel that as the weeks turn into months, you increase the intensity. 3 months have passed, and nutritionally you feel like you've laid the foundation. You keep that nutritional focus and then increase physical activity, getting stronger, increasing your cardio fitness. Feel like you've done that for 2 months. Eaten well and exercised well, and see how your body shape has already changed. This is a winnable game. Maintain that nutrition, and then in the final few weeks, you feel that you are living in a character with full of energy, intensity, mobility, and agility, and just make the most of living this character. Do all the things that you would do with all of that energy, strength, and mobility. Maybe you climb. Maybe you swim. Maybe there's certain sports that you play more of. I want you to have that same energy that you would have if you got to drive a sports car for just a week. Wouldn't you put it to its limits before giving the keys back? Feel how you would feel to put this body shape to the test. To do everything you would want to do, feeling as strong, as flexible, as lean and as energetic as a UFC fighter. And then suddenly, it feels like it's the day of a celebration. And feel how good it would feel to turn up feeling lean and strong and muscular. I want you to hear the compliments of people that haven't seen you for a while. You notice how often wow comes up. You look great. People asking for tips, how you've trained, what you do, and feel yourself brimming with pride and confidence, energy. Feel it's the best day ever, and you made it happen. And all it took was a few different habits and decisions, wiring it into this character that you're playing. And if it feels good in this moment, let me know by nodding your head. And as you experience a taste of what it feels like, feel that this habit continues way after this celebration. But it's time to leave this simulation. And then feel that you're there, taking off a headset or removing a sensor on your temple. But in playing this game, feel that you have now primed your mind to know a pathway that you can take when you return to your reality or your simulation. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connect fully in the here and now. as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, confident, with a sense of clarity as to how to make a game winnable for you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.